Hello and good evening, everybody. Taff Live, Sunday, the 28th of April, and Newport County are still in with the shot of the playoffs. It's in our hands still. Plenty else going on in the football world. Man City scraped the win to keep the pressure on Liverpool. What else is going on? Rangers beat Aberdeen in the Scottish League. Sheffield United have been promoted because Leeds didn't win against Aston Villa, and there was an awful lot of controversy there. Now, a lot of people have been ripping into Leeds United for the way they scored their goal, but I think it's a bit of a shame that they're doing that because they were obviously good enough to let Aston Villa get the goal back straight away. But anyway, there's loads of you saying an awful lot of stuff now. So straight from the top, Chris Curtin up the county. Good to see you, mate. George WBA is in. Hello, Taff. WBA, how do you fancy your playoff chances? Nasty Islam is in. Evening to you too, my friend. Yeovil down, says Mitchell Jenkins. Yes, Yeovil are down. Are we happy about that? In a way, yes, I suppose, because they beat us 6-0 at home. In another way, no, because it's a nice sort of short trip for us. So, yeah, mixed feelings about that one. Brooklyn Lee, do you think we'll make playoffs? I think we're going to do it. But I don't want to tempt fate too much. I'm just saying I think we're going to do it. I'm not saying we are going to do it, but I think we could. Luke County evening. Luke, good job with the selling of your merch, mate. Hope you made a load of money. So Jamie Plain Spotting is in. So Jamie Plain Spotting, you're quite new to me. What team are you then, my friend? Feels firm. Hi to you too, mate. Tom, who's going to win the Prem? It's hard to see it any other way than City now, to be honest with you. I think City beat Leicester at home, and I think it's only going to go one way against Brighton. But what's mental is that Liverpool could finish on 97 points, only lose one game all season, and still not win the title. It's mental. Neil Wilmot, Robbie's dad. Evening Taff, great game yesterday. It certainly was. So were you down for it then, Neil? Cam Stacey, evening all. Evening Cam. Azza, Taff, what a game that was yesterday. So proud of this club. Yeah, definitely, mate. Absolutely great result for us against a really good Lincoln team. Our defence has been immaculate the last sort of month or two. I mean, I think we've only conceded one goal in the last something like 7 games, is it? Something like that. It's mad. Absolutely mad, but it's great. I think one of the only goals we conceded that I can remember in the last few games have been at Yeovil. So a good result for Exeter. Yeah, it certainly was, mate. But to be honest with you, it's in our hands now, and I can't see us not winning our next 2 games. Nasi Islam, Leighton Orient are back up. Yes, they certainly are, aren't they? Be good to see Justin again. That's if he doesn't get poached by a League One club. I don't think he's going to move on so quickly this time, though, if that did come about. Byrie Beckford, I think I mean to say hey Taff there, not hell Taff. I mean, I thought I was going upstairs, not down. Would you rather face MK Dons, Mansfield, or Forest Green if you made the playoffs? Neither. I'd rather it be Bury that we play, if I'm being perfectly honest. Just 'cause I think we could beat Bury over 2 legs. Mansfield, I got a bad feeling about. MK Dons, I got a bad feeling about. Forest Green, again, just looking at the results that we've had against some of them teams this season. We only beat one of them on one occasion, and that was Mansfield at home. But they beat us 3-0 up there. So if you look at an aggregate score between all of them so far this season, we've been bollocked by them. MK Dons would have been a 3-0. Mansfield would be a 3-1. And then Forest Green would be, oh bloody hell, it would be a 5-2. Justin back at Roddy Parade as well next season. Yeah, it'll be, like as I said, it'll be great to see him. Bennett on the score sheet, banging off the bar, happy days. Luke County, should United drop De Gea? No. All goalkeepers tend to go through a bit of a dodgy patch. He's still a world class goalkeeper and still one of the best in the world. So people make mistakes. Mohamed Salah went through a period of not scoring some goals and not playing that well. But now look at him; he's back on fire, and it's just the same with a goalkeeper. All goalkeepers go through a spot of bad form. I believe De Gea had a bit of a spot like this when he first joined United. Now he's just gone through another one. These things happen. So is Jamie Preston? Is Jamie Plain Spotting? Why Plain Spotting, mate? Is that something of a hobby of yours? Benji Media, Arsenal or Spurs? I've got to say Arsenal. I've always had a great admiration for Arsenal and their support. The old days of Highbury, really passionate support there. With Spurs, I'm always weary of Spurs. The reason being is every club in London seems to hate them. I mean, obviously Arsenal hate them, Chelsea hate them, Millwall hate them, West Ham hate them. Everybody hates Spurs for some reason. So for me, there's got to be a reason why everybody hates Spurs. I'm always weary of them, but yeah, I'd say really I would prefer Arsenal. Good question though. Callum went and got 4 hours of revision to do before the exams. Great. So am I keeping you from one of those 4 hours of revision right now? If you're choosing me over revision, that's quality. But get your revision done, mate. Gotta be done, mate. Trust me. You'll be glad of it when you get older and you're not working in a crap job. George WBA, Taff, I've made Albion's greatest 11 from the Premier League era and all the time you asked me last week, but didn't have enough time. Well, if you've made it, post it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, mate. It may bring some old players, because I used to like going West Bromwich Albion on an old version Championship Manager, so it might bring some old memories back to me. Neil Wilmot, yes, mate, I was there. Great team spirit. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Robbie had a good game again, of course. Um, I felt he was worthy of winning at least one award in the awards last night. So were you there for the awards as well, Neil? QLD can't get over Leicester beating Arsenal today. Well, I kind of expected it. I can't get over them winning 3-0, mind you. When they were 1-0 up, I thought, are Arsenal going to lose again? But Arsenal have been losing to everybody lately. Well, obviously Wolves, Palace, I mean Leicester now, three on the bounce. And if they'd have won those games, which arguably you'd say they should have won all three, they'd be comfortably in the top four spot right now. And Chelsea and United would be the ones doing the chasing. Who was my player of the season? If we're talking county, then I'm saying Podge. That's who I voted for first. If you're saying player of the season in the English game, I'd say Virgil van Dijk. Mac the Gamer, what's the score prediction for this Tuesday against Oldham? I think we're going to pump them 3-0. Mitchell Jenkins, Wrexham in the playoffs. Maybe this time they might actually go all the way without us there to stop them. As of 6 years ago was the second leg of the playoff semi-final when Jolly scored. Come so far since then. That was also my first ever game when I was 12. Oh, bloody hell. It's a good game to start though, mate, isn't it? At least you can say you caught us in non-league, because there's not many young fans out there who can say that at the moment. Feels firm. Do you think Wrexham can get promotion? They're good enough to. They've just got to show a bit of consistency now in these playoffs. I mean, they're 3 games away potentially from being in the Football League with us again. And if we don't get promoted, it will be good to have that Wrexham derby back, because that Welsh derby was great. Very hostile, very exciting. And a really good banter between the clubs, of course. Who would you have kept last season from the people who left? And the people who left, not many to be honest with you. I think Newbley could have played a part this season, to be honest. I don't think there was really anybody else there who was really arguably that good, to be honest with you. No, I can't really think of anybody, to be honest, mate, no. Newbley, maybe. Dan Short, hi Taff. Hi Dan. Oh, actually, Ben Tozer I wouldn't mind keeping, actually. For his versatility more than anything. So Dan Short is in, the man from Bournemouth. That was a hell of a game for you guys yesterday, wasn't it? Bournemouth and Southampton. Luke County, Edinburgh won't be back next year as we're going up. There you go, nailed it. Well done, Luke. Well said, mate, well said. Friedwater, Lincoln were so dirty yesterday. Did the player even get a yellow for the push into the barrier? I think he did get a yellow, if I can remember right. But yeah, dirty tactics from Lincoln. You can see, what has made a difference for them this year and why they're up where they are. Because for me, they were no better on the pitch than some of the teams that have beaten us this year. So I think it's streetwise. Being streetwise in this division definitely pays off, and we were as streetwise as them, and that's why we matched them, to be honest. Who has been your favourite all-time county player? Well, you got to look at the likes of David Pipe, Michael Flynn, of course. Josh Labardi's been, one of my favourite. He's my favourite current county player, my favourite all-time county player. You're looking at the likes of Christian Jolly, Aaron O'Connor, Gary Warren, Sam Foley. So there's quite a lot out there from my personal county memory that I could go with, to be honest. But so my current favourite player is Labardi. Podge is certainly ranking up there with them as well. George WB, so here we go. So Ben Foster, yes. Olsen was very good. Macaulay and Dawson, yeah. I'm not going to argue with them. Gibbs, yes. Zoltan Gira, what a legend he was. What a player. Brent, yes. Malumbu, yes. Morrison's good. Lukaku was the one who I was hoping you'd choose. And Odin Wingy, Jesus. Is it? But didn't he? That's the thing. It's a tricky one with Odin Wingy because didn't he try to force his way out of you on deadline day and turned up in Queens Park Rangers car park, and then since he did that, his career took a big downward spiral. Because to be fair, before that he was outstanding for you. But then, I mean, I suppose you're saying that's an all-time Premier League 11, and I'll give you that one. But I tell you what I really liked for West Brom back in the day was Paul Pescasolido. So Greg Marsh is in. Hi Taff. Hi Greg. Brooklyn Lee, how many do you think we will bring on Tuesday? Hopefully we'll get 4,000 or more, 4,500 on a Tuesday night. That might be a bit of a problem, but we need to get as many as we can, because we need to cheer those guys over the line. So Sad George is your all-time 11 then. So so a lot of these I probably won't know, to be honest with you, mate. Brian Robson, yes, I know. Cyril Regis, I know, yes. And Jeff Assel, I know, yeah. Fair play, you've had some good players in your time with you, West Brom. Luke County, Arsenal and United have fallen giants. Who is closer to challenging for the league title? So I don't think anyone is at the moment. I mean, Tottenham didn't strengthen at all during any of the transfer windows, and that has been a big downfall for them because a couple of injuries and everything just seems to go wrong for them, whereas Liverpool have got players waiting in the wings. Man City have got top quality players waiting in the wings to to come into the team when there are injuries and suspensions and things like that. And also, if a player's out of form, he knows he can get dropped because there's a suitable replacement. Now, a player like Mo Salah, you're not going to drop him because he's in a bit of bad form. A bit like with City, if Aguero hit a bit of bad form, suppose you could throw Jesus in, but then like De Bruyne, De Bruyne wouldn't get dropped if he was in bad form. You know what I mean? So I think United needed their defenders. I think they need midfielders. Arsenal, again, exactly the same positions to strengthen. Chelsea, exactly the same positions to strengthen. And I'd even say Tottenham, other than they do need another striker. Janssen isn't good enough to cover Harry Kane, sorry to say. But obviously they got Son. But then other than that, and Moura, who have they really got? Like forward players. What kind of forward players have they got? I mean, obviously they got decent midfield with the likes of Ericsson and Dele Alli there. But who else have they really got? To come into that team. They're a bit light. Maybe not so much on the midfield side of things, but that's been where their injury worries have been. Obviously they've had Winks out, they've had Ali out. I know they've had Eric Dyer. No, I don't think he was out. I think it was Sissoko who was out. But then, they're relying on Dyer, Wanyama and players like that, and it's difficult for them. And with Harry Kane out, not scoring the goals, who else is there? Like I say, apparently Janssen missed an absolute city yesterday. I missed that game because I was doing the half-time draw over the county. But, Tottenham definitely need to strengthen next year. They got a bit of money. Maybe they were told they couldn't spend any money because they had to finish the payments for the stadium, maybe. I don't know. But for Tottenham's sake, I hope they don't become a selling club now, because to pay for that stadium, they may have to sell a few. But we don't know what their financial position is, do we? Barry Beckford, is it over for Notts County, or will they stay up, or will they win away at Swindon to stay up? Now, Swindon have got nothing to play for now, so Notts County fighting for their lives. We've been in a similar position as them, playing against them when they had nothing to play for at home, but they're away. Swindon want to go out with a bang. And at the same time, they may want to put a dent in Notts County, because at the end of the day, if Notts County stay up, they'll strengthen next year and they may end up being a contender. If they go down, Macclesfield won't have the resource to strengthen to be a contender. So we got to think of the strength of the league now, with Leyton Orient coming back into it and potentially Wrexham coming back into it. You obviously got to be prepared for that. And the likes of Bradford coming down, who else is coming down? Looks like Walsall are coming down. We're talking about clubs with resource there. And Plymouth could be coming down again as well, and they're obviously going to be a contender again. So the more contenders there are at the top, the less likely it is for teams like Newport County, like Swindon, like Exeter, and that who actually have an opportunity to finish up in the top end. So as I say, we need less big players. So Notts County going down would be a good thing for the rest of the clubs in the league. Although the league itself would suffer without Notts County, I think. I could rattle on about that kind of thing all day. QRD, I think the whole Arsenal team needs to shake up some major sorting out for Emery. They need to get Ozil off the wage bill, and then they may have the budget there to actually bring a couple of decent players in, because they do need midfielders. They got to get Ozil out. Whoever will take him, whether Bayern Munich may have him, Dortmund may have him. There's someone out there who will take him. Maybe even China. Send him to bloody China where they can afford his wages. Just get Ozil out, even if they've got to give him away for free. Get him off the wage bill, because he's earning a ridiculous wage, which 2 or 3 top quality players could be earning at Arsenal right now. They got the money to spend on the players themselves. It's just they can't afford they can't break the bank on the wage bill. That's the problem. Morecambe away will be hard. Collins is on fire right now. Don't we know it? Did we miss a trick by not signing him? I mean, no one expected him to be like this right now, because playing for Colchester, he didn't light up any fires. Didn't light up any fires for us when he came back on loan. He was decent for Notts County, but didn't do anything much for Tranmere when he was on loan there in the conference. So, yeah, he's improved as a player since he left us before, but I don't think we expected him to be such a good player, for Morecambe. But fair play to him. He's been banging the goals in. He's living up to his potential now. He's signing for Morecambe on a 2-year deal, I've heard. And good luck to him. But if he's going to have an off day, he's got to have it next Saturday. Our defence has really improved recently since Flynn met Klopp. It's funny that, isn't it? Because Liverpool, when they scored their goal against Cardiff, anyone else noticed that it was a carbon copy of the FA Cup goal that Podge scored against Middlesbrough, the second goal in the Middlesbrough home game? It was a carbon copy, the Wijnaldum goal. And tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but they may have shared that. Flynn may have said, look, this is what we did for that corner. Maybe Klopp saw it, said, oh, look, show me how you did this. And maybe he shared him a few defensive secrets. Who knows? Cam Stacey, who do you think will leave if we don't get promoted? Now, I've heard a very, very disturbing story that Joe Day could be on his way if we don't get promoted. I hope it's not true. I think it's the rumour mill kicking things up. I've also heard that regardless of whether we get promoted or not, Dan Butler's had an offer from West Brom. There's one for you, George. Dan Butler is an excellent player, but hopefully it's just the rumour mill kicking things out, because I remember when Andrew Hughes was signing for bloody Watford for $1 million back when we were at Spitty Park playing in the conference. These things, they come out, they're complete and utter crap. Like the Hammond rumours in January, he was going to Plymouth for 200k and all that. Rumours don't necessarily mean that things are going to happen, Anyway, but I think if we don't get promoted, I'd like to think none of them will leave, but I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Bennett reminds me of Tozer. Yeah, just a bit shorter, but very versatile again. Obviously, at least we've kept the weapon of the long throw by having Mickey do it. Greg Halpin is in. Hiya, Greg. How's it going, mate? Luke County. How much do you think Pipe has helped shape the club? And would you class him as a club legend? I think Pipe has been a massive part of the progression of the football club during this decade. And yes, I would class him as a club legend. He captaining the club to promotion in 2013 would allow me to class him as a legend anyway. But then coming back on loan to protect that Football League status that he strove to take us to, and then now has been part of the progression up the league from there. What an absolute servant this guy has been, and I hope you all caught the interview I had with him on the task word I put out last night, talking to the team. So Greg saying what a season it has been. It has, But the players, every single player I went to and I asked them, sum the season up in one sentence, not over. It's not over yet. So they're hungry for it. They know exactly what they want and they're going to go for it, you know. What did you think about Bournemouth this weekend? So Dan, I must be a little bit behind you, mate. Jeez. I got to do some catching up now, guys. But hopefully you caught what I mentioned about the Bournemouth and Southampton game. Cracking match. Mitchell Jenkins, you think Cardiff are down? I think it's curtains for them. But I do hope it goes to the end of the season because it'll give Brighton something to fight for when they play against Man City. Joseph Reid, he did try and force a move. Does a lot for the club and community now, though. Does a lot for the Albion Foundation. Brilliant. So George WB, you don't know about you don't know Cunningham. I probably do, mate. To be honest with you, just there's an awful lot of players out there, you know. So anyway, let's move on. Welsh gamer, hi Taff, you're all weedy. Don't think so, somehow. I got scruffy hair, but I'm not a scruff like weedy. I don't smell either. I'm just joking. If we don't win playoffs, Day and Butler will leave, in my opinion. Well, funny enough, I've just mentioned them. Probably to a high League One club or a low Championship club, possibly. But yeah, so Semenyo sent off for Bristol City against Derby County. They lost 2-0 out of playoffs. They should have kept them at Newport. Probably should have, yeah. And I think we'd have cemented a playoff place by now if we'd have kept him. Thoughts on aggressive beanie wearer? Says Morgan Hamilton. Aggressive beanie wearer. Oh yeah, psycho bollocks. You mean? Yeah, I think we've got to stop winding Psycho Bollocks up, to be honest. That's his nickname for me, Psycho Bollocks. But, yeah, bit unhinged, isn't he? Azza, do you think there are Deadwood players who will leave next season? Yeah, I think there's about 4 or 5, I think we'll move on. Thoughts on Aziz? I think Aziz is a very tricky player, but I think he's an inconsistent player. If he works hard, fair play to him. He ran around like a headless chicken yesterday, and he did cause them some problems when he came on. So he's a very, very good, like I say, addition to the squad. But I think he needs to get a bit of consistency and learn how to find the goal a little bit easier. As a Townsend, better than Day? No. As I didn't get Young Player of the Year, pretty sure it goes up to 24. No, Dan Butler didn't get Young Player of the Year, no. And I don't think they were classing it as up to 24. I think with the county it might just be up to 21 or something like that, I don't know. But Tyree Backinson won all the young ones. Nick Muller late again. Better late than never, mate. So Marussia, the Exeter fan, can you get playoffs still? It's actually physically in our hands. We got a game in hand that would take us above you guys. If we win that game in hand, which is Tuesday against Oldham, then we win at Morecambe. We seal the playoffs. Sorry to say, my friend, but you may not be making the playoffs this year. Joseph Ray, Nick, massive favour. Can you beat Leeds so we can finish third if we win? That's a big ask, that is, for Ipswich to win a game. Sorry, Nick. Callum Morris, could tell from your video that there's no expectation on the players. There's no pressure. It was nice to see. Yeah, I think with them, they just know they're good enough to win these last 2 games. They know they're good enough, and I think they're fully prepared to go out and do it. Because I spoke to them a fair bit off camera as well. Unfortunately, they were the only ones who stayed behind after the evening had finished. But no, it was really good to speak to them. And, you know, they're dead keen on it and they're well up for it. Tuesday, I'm sure they're going to do it. Would you rather win playoffs or have another FA Cup run like this year? I mean, the Cup runs generate an awful lot of money, but so could the playoffs. To be honest with you, if we could get into League One and sustain ourselves there for the season, that could potentially be bigger than the FA Cup for just 1 year of the FA Cup. Because we'll increase our fan base, we'll increase our stature within the Football League pyramid, and you know, obviously we will end up getting more money through sponsorships and things like that. So going into League One provides more financial opportunity for us anyway. But people go on about you can't afford to get promoted to League One and all that. It's like, well, no, that's not the truth in this day and age. Obviously, we will get more supporters through the door. Ticket prices will go up slightly. So there will be more money coming through sponsorship. You get more TV money, more EFL money, you know, so it all goes up. So whoever's saying we can't afford, well, we get more money, so of course you can. Nick Muller, oh, so it's 15,000 going to turn it for the Ipswich game, the last game of the season. Well, you gotta enjoy the last game of the Championship, really, haven't you? You'll be back next year, though, I'm sure of it. 25 minutes in, we've only got 14 likes. There's over 20 of you in. How's about we get those thumbs up past the 20 mark, and we will extend past the half hour. Morgan Hamilton, I really don't mind if Butler leaves. For me, Mickey is much better and more disciplined. I don't know about that. I like Mickey as a centre back, and I like Butler on the left. I don't think Mickey is much better at coming forward than what Butler is, and Butler plays as a wing back. Mickey would be more of a full back. You know what I mean? So I think we could do with keeping Butler, if I'm being honest. Thoughts on Norwich and will they stay in the Premiership next year? Depends. They got to invest. They got to invest wisely, of course. I mean, there's two really good examples of what not to do that have happened this season. First of all, is Cardiff not investing enough soon enough, and then there's Fulham investing too much on donkeys. So that's what they did. They invested an awful lot on donkeys, and now they're going down because of it. And I personally think they sacked their manager a bit too needlessly at the beginning of the season. Claudio Ranieri did nothing for them. And Scott Parker ended up giving them a little bit of pride to go down with. But Cardiff, they just didn't get enough quality in early enough. Obviously, they brought in a couple of players during January, and they're doing a bit of business, and they still got a chance of staying up. But if they'd have brought in that quality at the beginning of the season when they had the money there, you know, they could have given themselves a real shot because Warnock is a good manager. So Norwich, yeah, they're going up with a good team, a lot like Wolves did, but they got to invest wisely, like Wolves did. The perfect example of what to do when you do get in the Premiership. Morgan Hamilton, should I take his hat on Tuesday? I'm pretty sure if we take his hat, he'll take your life. And I'm not even joking about that either, because he threatened to stab someone as well. He did. Mental. That's what's it. Psycho bollocks. Welsh gamer. Got some stuck in my teeth in it, guys. Had a bit of fish earlier. Welsh gamer, I think we should get Stephen Davis on a free from the Saints. Stephen Davis, what, the Northern Ireland midfielder Stephen Davis? I think he's a bit too good to come to our division, to be honest with you, mate. Joseph, I just don't want to play the Vile in the playoffs. Oh, you mean Villa? Don't want to play Villa? Well, you could take pride in knocking them out of the playoffs, though, couldn't you? You know, that would be a hell of an occasion. Morgan Hamilton. If you could sign one player in the window instead of Smodix, who would it be? It depends, really. It depends who's out there and who's available. I mean, you've got to be realistic. You can't just say, "Yeah, I'd like to have him because I'd like to have Gareth Bale playing for Newport County," but it's something that's just never ever going to happen. Even when Gareth Bale's 50, you know, it wouldn't be feasible for him to join Newport County to play a season of football. But we do need a player like Smodix. He's not going to be available for us. He's going to be moving to League One if he does leave Colchester. I don't think Colchester are going to get playoffs, so he may be already looking at where he's going to go to. I don't think you know, we're going to get anyone like him. We need to discover someone, maybe someone who's been released by a bigger club, maybe someone who is in the non-league currently playing well. You know, I mean, Solihull got a lot of good players. I mean, if they don't come up, we've got to look within that top sort of 5 teams in the conference. We've got to look around that sort of area, because a lot of the best players in our league have come from there, like Andrade for Lincoln, for example, played for Boreham Wood last year. And since he's moved on from them, you know, Boreham Wood came nowhere near it, you know, for the playoffs this year. You know what I mean? So that's where I think that's where we need to look, you know, from the young players coming from above and the up-and-comers in the league below. Luke County, Marsh Brown, Forbes, Crofts, who else should go? So, yeah, them players you've listed, yes. We already know Pipe and Franks won't be with us next season as well. I think Labardi, I'd love to keep Labardi. The thing about, talk about his injuries, now he had a bad one which kept him out for, you know, like pretty much a year. But then this latest one is a gash on his leg. So the studs had run down his leg like I thought they'd done. And the gash is not, he can't play with that at the moment. He will be able to at some point. But I think that was just a bit of bad luck, not him being injury prone, Win playoffs all day. Also, so people would take the playoffs over a cup run again next season. Happy days. Pretty sure there's 150 million at stake in the championship playoffs. There's about that now these days. Yeah, I'd say so. The FA Cup run messed us up. Without that this season, we'd be automatically promoted, in my opinion. That's a good case to make, to be honest with you, mate. Yeah, it could well be. That could well be the case. Now, here we go. Now, here's a really, really good suggestion. Joe Ledley is on a free. Would you take him over County? Now, I would. Now, I've got a funny feeling now because Ipswich are going down with James Collins in their team. But obviously he leaves at the end of the season. Now, does he stay with them in League One? Or does he make the punt and come to the county and give a season to his hometown club? Which, after speaking to his brother a couple of years back, that was pretty much his intention. Start his coaching badges, have a hand in coaching whilst playing. Perfect replacement for Fraser Franks as well, if he doesn't want too much money, of course. Joe Ledley probably wouldn't want too much money, coming to the end of his career. Could maybe do the same. He could live locally because he's he's from Cardiff. James Collins is from Newport. So, two experienced heads. Maybe that's the thing that we're lacking because we do have a fair few young players, So, as a thought, Luke, really good point, mate. No Ranger at County next season. No, the guy's trouble. No, I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole, mate. Friedwater, did you see what happened to Leeds Villa? What do you think about it? To be honest with you, I know the player went down injured, but it's not the prerogative of the team in possession to put the ball out for him. They don't have to. It's up to the referee to blow the whistle to stop the play. Now, if Villa had put their hands up because, asking them to put it out, they should have complied, really, out of sportsmanship. So, the thing is, a lot of people calling Leeds dirty and a disgrace and everything like that, but they did allow Villa to score an equaliser. They allowed them to get back into the game. So, you know what I mean? I think move on, basically. It's a nothing story now. Toxic Gamer is in at the county, good man. Whilst Gamer, Ledley, Collins and Ranger would be very aids. Ledley and Collins, yes, Ranger would be. But Ledley and Collins I'd take straight away. Norwich have said they only have 20 million to spend in the window. How do you work out on it? How do you only get 20 million to spend when it's worth about 150 million to you? I mean, getting promoted brings in all the TV money. They can spend a lot more than that. They absolutely can. Because at the moment, their wage bill is basically a sustainable wage bill for the Championship. In the Premier League, the money just flies up. Like I say, 150 million strong, the money flies up. The ticket prices go up. The support goes up. The away followings go up because you're going to pretty much sell out every away end of every game in that. Sponsorship goes up. Everything goes up moving into the Premier League. So having only 20 million to spend is... No, I don't think that's true. If Bolton go bust, do all the players become free agents? They absolutely do, yes. That is correct. Views on Arsenal away record and how they're so bad away. Starting to wonder, was Wenger really the problem? Or was it the recruitment process at Arsenal? Wenger, his tactics weren't always effective, but neither of Emery's tactics been effective. I think it's the recruitment there. And whoever's running the show there, I think is it Kroenke? I think that's where the problem lies. A lot like Man United and their leadership up above. Surreals. If Salah had survived, then I reckon Cardiff would be safer, if not safe. He would have had to have been a success, of course, for that to be true. Unfortunately, it's a position where we'll never know. I wish we had, because an aspiring footballer like Salah, you don't want anyone to lose their lives, especially with someone with that amount of talent. I mean, it's an absolute waste of talent as well. It's a waste of a life, and he looked like he was a really nice guy as well. So, it was gutting, and I was absolutely gutted. I was hoping and praying every day that they'd find him alive. And when they found the body, I had a funny feeling it may have been him, because obviously the pilot would have had, certain survival training and things like that, to be able to get out of a wreckage after you go into the water. Where Salah is just a footballer, he wouldn't have known what to do. But he would have had to have been good for Cardiff to know if him being there would have would have saved them. So, I don't know, it's just one of those tricky ones to answer. Sorry, mate. Morgan Hampton, any chance I could do an interview before the game on Tuesday? You absolutely can, mate. Yes, if you come to the main gate where I sell the halftime draw tickets, look out for Michael and Ryan will be stood with me, and you can come and talk to them. I take it you mean Amber Talk. As I would love Reece Brown at County. Who is Reece Brown again? Sammy Amiobi at County. There's a thought. He's Sammy Amiobi. Where is he now? Is he at Bolton at the moment? Is James Collins ever going? Is James Collins ever coming to us? I'd like to think next season will be the time he does. Giovanni Brown from Cambridge is a goal scorer, midfielder, scored a worldie earlier in the season. Rodney, yeah, that's a good point. Giovanni Brown would be a good addition, potentially. It was a creative goal scoring, attacking midfielder. That's where we're lacking at the moment. Rich G, is Flynn off in the summer? And if so, who would you look to replace him? It's a difficult question. I mean, it's not something I've really thought about because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have the thought of Flynn not being here. Although, if we get promoted, he won't go anywhere. If we don't get promoted, and we dedicate some of the FA Cup money from this year to him to use, I can see a possibility where he'll stay because he knows he's going to be given a little bit more to work with. If he can keep his best players and add in the way he wants to, I can't see any reason why he'd want to go at the moment. We always loan a player from Bristol. I wonder who we'll loan from them next season. Antoine Semenyo would be nice. Colin Simmons, Leeds fully justified to play on and score. Only head injuries should team ball out for. Otherwise, with players dropping all the time, we would be out a lot of time. That's a really good point. Yeah, and like I say, the onus is not with the players to put the ball out; it's with the referee to stop the play if the player is injured. Aston Villa maybe shouldn't have stood around with their hands up for them to put the ball out. They should have carried on with the game. But I understand why they were upset. I do understand it. And I understand. And fair play, Bielsa told them to give him a goal. Gave him a goal. There you go. Rich G, can Newport sustain themselves in League One? And if so, how without getting the club bust? That's the thing. As I've mentioned not too long ago, there's more and more money involved in being in the higher league. So we can sustain because there's more money coming into the club. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to have a big budget like some of the bigger clubs in League One, of course not. But we can sustain ourselves, definitely. I mean, Accrington, they've managed to. Luke County, would you rather gamble on a 33-year-old experienced pro or take a gamble on a youngster from a lower league? Now, it's not so much of a gamble on a 33-year-old pro. As long as they're fit enough to carry on playing, then you know you've got a good player on your hands. Whereas you take a gamble on a youngster from a lower league, you don't know if you've got a good player on your hands because they've not been tried and tested at your level. So I would rather go for the older guy any day. But then it depends what kind of potential the younger guy has got. When it comes to Football Manager, obviously you do the right sort of scouting and things like that, and then you determine their potential. If they have got the potential, then I would rather sign the youngster because you can nurture them and become the player you want them to. But when you're looking at it in the real world, you'd rather take a punt. If it was a gamble sort of situation, you take the punt on the experienced guy first. And which strike partnership would you rather have? O'Connor, Jolly, and Zabrowski, Podge, Jam, and Aziz. The latter, because it looks like we're going to finish in our highest place since our reformation. So this is the strike force that's got us there. Greatest Italian player ever: Maldini, Baggio, Pirlo. Oh, there's so many. I mean, you can look back at loads. I mean, you got like Dino Zoff as a goalkeeper. And even defenders. Franco Baresi was great. You know, you've got players like Del Piero, who was great for Italy. You know, I mean, there's just so many. I mean, there was two Baggios, Dino and Roberto. Obviously, Roberto. Pirlo was great, of course, yes. But there's just so many good Italian players out there. I mean, I'd be inclined to say someone like Del Piero. Obviously not Mario Balotelli, of course, but it's a difficult one. Best Italian player, yeah, that was a very, very difficult one. I mean, you could even make a case for Zola, I suppose, as well. Yes, but Leeds defender Janssen tried to tackle the player for the Villa goal. Yes, he did try defying his manager's wishes, but they scored the goal at the end of the day. You know, forget about it, I'd say. Who would say is Albion's greatest player has been? West Brom's greatest player, well, Premier League player for me, it is Lukaku. Although I am a big fan of Brent and Gira. Although I thought Graham Dollins was good for you as well, mind you. The greatest player of all time. Yeah, you got to look at the likes of Brian Robson, really, haven't you? Brian Robson, Cyril Regis. Yeah, pretty much sums that one up there. James Collins came off injured on Saturday. Hopefully not too badly injured because he's coming to us, hopefully. Would you take Adam Johnson at County as his Sunderland contract is expiring? No. The guy's a toucher. No. No way. Luke Wilkins up the County. Good old Luke. Hugh Flynn is second favourite for the Gillingham job. Doesn't matter to me. He's turned down bigger jobs. He could have gone to Luton by all accounts. Could have gone to Bristol Rovers, who I think is a bigger club than Gillingham. There's no way Gillingham are taking another manager from us, and I don't think Flynn will be the one to go to someone like Gillingham. I don't think it's a big step up for him. He's got to take a job, but it's actually going to be a step up, a proper one. Would you take Josh Coroma from Orient next season? I'd take him, but I don't think we'd get him though. That's the thing. We should sign Kevin Ellison so that OEP can't score against us ever again. I think he's good. Is he retiring at the end of this season? I'm sure. I've seen somewhere that he said he's going to retire at the end of the season anyway. Maybe he's waiting until he dishes us the last piece of Kevin Ellison fuckery, that he always brings to us, and kill our chances of the playoffs. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully we don't let him. But the point I made is that we always beat Morecambe when it matters. We beat them during the Great Escape, remember. Braves, I don't think our gates would increase much if we went up. The Crade wasn't that big versus Lincoln, considering they brought almost 800. But the Crade, there's a potential there. And if we get promoted, it creates a hype. And people want to jump on board that hype. And everyone's got to start somewhere. Everyone's got to have a first game. You're not going to get everybody come back, But I remember we used to struggle to get 1,200 people at Spatey Park back in the conference. And that was during this decade. Back when we were getting 4,000 at home for the games at Spatey Park in Conference South. At the end of the day, our support has pretty much tripled since I've been going over. Proper hardcore support is tripled. And there's a potential for a lot more. We took 7,500 just to Wembley for an away game in midweek. So there's people out there who would come to the county, playing at a high level, playing against better clubs where the football's going to be better. You're going to increase your chance of getting more people through the gate. They say to me, are you Nick Muller on YouTube? Was that at Ipswich, is it, mate? Luke County, Flynn could have went Shrewsbury, double salary, didn't take it. Exactly. Jacob, NCFC, you was what, mate? Colin Simmons, does it bring a friend for free Tuesday? It absolutely is, yes. But you got to get it by Monday. You can't do it on the day, apparently. Luke County, Ellison equals Voldemort. He does look a bit like him, doesn't he? Jacob, NCFC, I was getting tickets and literally the Hazel Terrace is full the Oldham game on Tuesday. Really? Sounds great. Got to get the noise in. Got to get the noise on the go. Do you think tickets will be on general sales that don't have a season ticket? Tickets are on general sale, yes. You will be able to get a ticket on general sale. No problem at all. But guys, that takes us up to nearly 45 minutes. We got 21 likes. As I said, we do the extension. I blagged it on at 19, to be honest with you. So still 23 of you in you. I know the likes are going up now. You start talking likes and the likes start flying up. Say 5 more minutes if we can get 2 more. We're on 23 at the moment. 2 more likes, 5 more minutes. We're taking up to 50 minutes. How's about that? Can't say further than that. 24. Taff, we need some trivia. Oh, shoot. I didn't do any trivia. Balls. I'm going to have to come up with one on the spot because I usually use my football trivia app. Football trivia. Let me have a think about a question then, guys. Right then. Okay then. I'm just going to bang out some easy ones then, yeah? Okay. So, list all of the English European Cup winners. Every single English team that has won the European Cup, list them all. That's your first one, guys, while I think of another one. But list all of the European Cup winners. So Forest, that's one. Luke County, well done. English teams that have won the European Cup. Villa. So the 2 hardest ones are gone already. Villa, Forest United, Chelsea. Yes, Liverpool. I can't believe people didn't think of Liverpool first. But is that all of them? I believe that probably is all of them, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right then. Who currently holds the record for the most Premier League hat-tricks? There's a good one for you. And then at the same time, let's get two of them. Let's get two of them rolling. Who currently holds the record for the most Premier League clean sheets? So George WBA Aguero. I believe it is Aguero now because he's just taken it away from Shearer, haven't he? And most clean sheets is Petr Cech. Yes, well done there, guys. Van der Sar, not quite. It was Petr Cech. People would have usually thought it was Schmeichel, but Petr Cech has obviously played. I don't think it's more games than Schmeichel, but he played at a time when Chelsea had a fantastic defence, of course. But there you go, Cech. Yes, well done there, guys. I can't believe I didn't come up with my bloody trivia. I was enjoying that part as well. Van der Sar was so underrated. I don't know, really. I mean, he won the European Cup with Ajax and played for Juventus. I just can't believe he went to Fulham. That was the thing. That was the shocker, was that he went to Fulham and then moved to Man United on a free. What an absolute steal they had there. So, think of some more. I got to come up with a hard one for you, haven't I? I really have got to come up with a difficult one. Messi won his 34th trophy last night. Jesus Christ, the guy is an absolute colossal, isn't he? Messi, greatest player in the world, ever, all time. The GOAT, Messi. Would you agree? Messi is the GOAT of football. What keeper in the Prem has the most saves? Oh yeah, test me then, guys. Yeah, let's get testing me. What keeper in the Prem has the most saves? I'm gonna say it's someone like Jeskalainen, someone like that. Messi, greatest of all time. Absolutely. So George W says it's Foster. Is it really Foster made the most saves in the Premier League? Well, he has been around for a while, hasn't he? Bloody hell. All right, then. Let's have a little think. Highest ever top flight scorer. Is that like of all time? It's going to be someone like Marco van Basten, maybe Johan Cruyff. How would Celtic and Rangers do in the Premier League? That's a really good point. That is actually, yeah. I don't think with their current squads they would do much. They'd probably both get relegated with their current squads. But with the extra income the fact that they're supported just as well as more or less any football club out there, I think on a bigger stage they would, you know what I mean, they would be able to put together a better squad, and then they would thrive in the Premier League. And I actually think Celtic and Rangers would be pushing in for top 10 finishes every year after they've been in the Premier League for about 5 years and sustained themselves. So exactly, Celtic sell out, 64,000 seat stadium. They make so much money, you know. But I'm a bit gutted that I didn't do the trivia properly. I haven't even got anything written down here. You know, that's what I need to do. I need to, like I was doing before, write the trivia questions down. So I apologise for that, guys. I'll have some more next time. But the good news is next week they could be our first giveaway. We're close. We're so close, guys. We're on, I think it's 2477 on subscribers. 2,500 giveaway. 2,750 second giveaway. 3,000 will be our third giveaway. And it's going to be 3 great prizes, guys. So try and get everybody. So 2482. So we're so close. So Cam Stacey, how many grounds you've been to? Loads. Fucking loads. I'd say half the Football League I've done, and a fair few in non-league as well. So Wacko Ack is buzzing for Cambridge. So Naughty Nigel, hey Taff, I wonder if that's Nigel from the club. Probably not. But anyway, guys, we're going to be wrapping this one up very shortly. So Last chance for any of you with a bit of money behind you to make a donation. Maybe. May have a bit of swing when it comes to the competition. Maybe. No, I can't do that, no. But yeah, any donations would be massively appreciated, of course, as they always are. So far this channel's made £180 for the Amber Army funds this year alone. So we're doing bloody well. We're doing really well at the moment, and got you guys to thank for that, because as much as it's a lot of hard work and effort on our part to obviously put this content out there, of course, and do these streams, but it's worth doing. It's worth putting the effort in if people like you are going to join in and help us generate the funds. So it's always much appreciated. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much to all of you who've subscribed and contributed to the channel in any way at all. It's massively appreciated. Want to end on a bit of a low note, but then potentially a high note. Our sponsors, the Scrum Half, had a party, an end of season party on Friday. Unfortunately, it didn't get supported by the so-called supporters of the football club. It was a real shame, because they put music on. They got a DJ in to do music, proper music. They put food out, so it was free food. They put drinks prices down. They had a raffle with some signed county memorabilia there, and hospitality tickets for the county and all that as well. They did everything they needed to do. They did everything they needed to do to put on a good night, and it really was a good night in there. And it just didn't get supported. And it was a good cause that we raised the money for as well. And obviously for the third kit next season for Fraser Franks, obviously fans getting their names embossed within the shirt in the design, and the money raised was going to pay so some of the fans of ours who've sadly passed away over recent years can get their names on there, as a a mark of remembrance for their families and things like that. So it was a bit of a shame that the event wasn't supported, because they actually lost money because they brought the drinks prices down. The intention of the night was to put on a good night for county fans, an affordable night, and obviously raise money for a good cause. So they lost money over the bar, unfortunately, and it's a real shame. Although this is kicking on, for me personally, I want to make sure that we can do more stuff with them during the season, because we can't burn our bridges with the pubs in Newport just because we've got Bad Amber now. We've got Bad Amber, and it's great, and it's making money for the club, of course, and people are going to keep going in there regardless of what other pubs are doing. But to try and deter people from going to other pubs, and only drinking Bad Amber on game days and things like that, you're going to burn your bridges with other pubs, because if Bad Amber goes tits up, and the county need to plug that financial gap with support from local businesses, well, the pubs are certainly not going to forget, what has actually happened there, So hopefully, these pubs like the Scrum Half and the Dodger and all the others who've been supporting the county for years financially are going to be getting, at least a little bit of support from the fans in future. Anyway, let's run through these last few messages. So where's Kev? Kev couldn't make it tonight. Sorry, guys. I should hopefully have someone with me next week, whether it be Kev or anybody else. So Morgan Hamilton's not over 18, so couldn't go. No, that's fair enough. If you're not over 18 or you're working, whatever, things like that happen. So Luke's doing another stall on Tuesdays. Make sure that you go and buy some memorabilia from the man. Courtyard is the best, Taff. Courtyard's decent. Back from my drinking days, I remember it. Mitchell Jenkins has just donated 79p. Look, mate, every little helps. He says a little something, but for me, that is a big something, because 79p more than what we had beforehand. And if 100 people gave us 79p, we'd be on. That'd be 79 quid in the end, So it makes a big difference, mate. So thank you very much. That's a real good note to end on. So thanks again for joining me, guys. Dixie Dean, 60 goals for Everton in a single season, 1927-28 season. Well done, Dixie Dean. Happy days. Great stream tonight, guys. Thanks all for joining me. Thanks all for your input. Really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Good night. Up the county. God bless.